What's up, golfers? Today's podcast is brought to you by Whataburger. The deliciousness of Whataburger must be tasted to be fully understood. A giant, juicy Whataburger is an emotional journey you must make at least once in your life and check off your bucket list. My favorite thing, everything. Enjoy a delicious Whataburger today. Now, golfers, let's learn how to tame our mind and give it the tools we need to succeed so we can crush it and lower our scores.
How would you like to have an unfair advantage every time you stepped on a golf course where you have the confidence and skill to boom drives, drain putts, and win weekend skins games? You can. The Single Digit Blueprint uses proven systems, structures, and strategies to lower your golf scores. Single Digit Blueprint uses proven systems, live coaching every day, mastermind groups, and monthly group challenges that sharpen your game so you can master the game. Get your $1 trial right now at singledigitblueprint.com and become a golfer everyone else envies.
Welcome back. Today I am joined by our tamed Australian golf pro, Richard Guzzo. He's very excited lately. Adam Scott and Jason Day are both doing very well, but they will not win the Masters.
Oh, big words.
Some say that his breath smells of Bermuda grass and that he's afraid of lawnmowers. He's also had no luck at getting his wife to recreate the ice fetching scene in Dead Solid Perfect. Welcome, Rich.
That's a good one. The ice fetching scene. And the funny thing is about Dead Solid Perfect is it's still on VHS. I don't know why it hasn't gone to DVD, but a classic golf movie. And if you haven't seen it,
it's terrible.
No, I don't know why it hasn't gone to DVD. I do think that there's some racially insensitive comments in that movie. I don't know if that's why, or if it's like whoever owns the rights to it. I really don't know the reason why it's held back, but it is a classic golf movie. A lot of one-liners.
Well, didn't Randy Quaid go nuts?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess is he the owner of the movie? I mean, is that who controls the rights for it from VHS to DVD? I don't know. So
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, but it is a classic golf movie. So if you haven't seen it, there are some online versions. That are probably illegal. It's still just a VHS only movie. So if you haven't seen it,
a quote on our Facebook mastermind group this morning from Brian Terry. It's a quote from Dead Solid Perfect. Kenny Lee, I guess, is the main guy's name. It's on luck.
That's it. Yeah, so he gets to the first tee and the guy across from him is like, "Good luck, Kenny." He's like, "Piss on luck."
So speaking of luck, we've got a lot of guys participating in the Rust Buster, and they are doing the Kaizen principle, basically get a little bit better every single day. So when you go to bed, you're a little bit better, or you know a little bit more than you did the day before. So give us a breakdown of the Rust Buster and who's. Can you pull that up?
Yeah, I put the leaderboard up last night, and I've got probably 20 to 50 golfers that have sent their checklist in, and maybe just bits and pieces. But there are 9 contestants who have pretty much just consistently followed the plan. And
so this is what. Let me explain a little bit. What we're talking about here in the Rust Buster is we have a couple of different things that we're measuring people by. Number one, and this is brand new to the checklist, is habit points contest. Basically, the more habits that you do every day, the more points you're going to get, and that's what Rich is talking about right here. And we have skills point, or not points, but I guess some of them are points, but some of them are distance too, that we'll try to improve upon.
We know that
knock the rust off this week or these weeks, but go ahead and give us the rundown on the.
Yeah, we know that, progressively doing little bits of everything across a period of time sees results. So that's why our leaderboard is focused on activity. And so it's not pertaining to, how close did you hit your wedge shots or how far did you hit your drive. We do have those assessments in here, but that's separate from the leaderboard. We really want to focus on the activity level, because we know if you can do the checklist items that we've outlined in the 2, 3, 4 weeks program, that you progressively, one, knock the rust off your game, but progressively get better. So we've got Scott's leading the way right now at 58 points. Josh is pretty close. Those two are neck and neck right now. He's got 1 point less at 57. Bob's at 54. These are 14-week totals. Bob's at 54. Brian's at 53. Scott's at 48. We've got Mark at 47. Steve's at 45, Larry's at 42, and we've got Nathan at 25. So
basically, these are the guys that get the best results because they're the most consistent. And we're not talking about these things taking a lot of time, because they don't. I mean, if you got a spare hour in a day, you have plenty of time to do everything that we're talking about here. And to be honest, if you're using that spare hour at the end of the day to watch Survivor, I mean, come on, man. Let's get serious about golf.
And that's including workout and the golf portion. So it's condensed. So it's including everything. It's not just one little portion of it. And so your Grease in the Groove is 15 minutes, but that could be 1 minute increments spread out across the day. And then your range sessions are really not that long either. And that's the beauty about it, is that you can do it in an hour.
And most everybody is really busy. They have demanding jobs, travel. Some of these guys, I can't believe how often they travel. And Larry's one of those guys. And last night, I had kind of a crummy day yesterday. But I get in the evening and I look on Facebook, and Larry has posted up, like just this great kind of I would almost call it a testimonial, but he's talking about how everything is kind of coming together. He shot 77 in a cold wind, which, I mean, everybody knows that's pretty difficult just mentally to be out there.
It's a good sign for the start of the season, too, to shoot a 77 for the start of the season. Yeah. So, because you're still, I mean, that's the thing about the winter, is you don't want to think that it's happening, but you'd lose distance just because of the cold layering up. And so once the temps start going up, you start shedding the layers, you'll get your distance back. And that's where that number, I mean, so if he's shooting 77 out now, we should expect some good things for him by the end of the summer.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about him here in a little bit. And this is a reminder that we're going to lock down the Rust Buster for all the free guys that are participating. And it's going to move into the members area of the Single Digit Blueprint. And for this week, you can get access for just $1 for 30 full days. So that'll actually take you into the first part of the Power and Distance Challenge that is going to start the week after the Masters. So we're going to have Rust Buster week 3 this week. Week 4, Masters week, you'll start seeing some emails from us for entry into the Rust Buster Challenge. We'll do some, maybe like a waiting list on that, but it's going to be $97. So, I mean, you can get it for $1 or you can get it for $97. We're trying to make this a no-brainer offer. We've got a bunch of guys, and this is not the full list, but these guys are actually posting into Facebook. And I think we had a Bill Jackson, right? Or a William Jackson.
Yeah.
Are they one and the same? Because I saw 2 guys added to the Facebook mastermind.
I don't know. I think it's the same.
He's got 2
Bill,
Facebook pages.
Oh. Hey, you have 2, so hey.
Yeah, I got like a bunch. Scott Matthews, Dave Bear, William Barnes, Brian Terry, Mark Lewis, Chucks Nwambanelli, UK.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool name, Chucks. I like that. And Corbin Bentrot. So those guys are all in the Single Digit Blueprint, and they're off to a good start. So, like I was talking about, I had a crummy day yesterday, but just the group, just seeing the progress and the great things that are going on in there brought me up, so I feel pretty good about it. But I want to start off by saying life is hard, golf is harder. And I think the two are intertwined together, uh, and help each other. You can't be a golfer if you don't understand yourself, adversity, and learn the ability to overcome challenges. And I think you also enjoy success in your personal life by the lessons that you learn in golf, and vice versa. So if you take a look at any golf course parking lot, I don't care if it's public or private, there's a lot of nice cars in there, nicer than average. And I think there's a reason for that. And we're going to dive into some mindset things here today, deep thinking. So, Rich, I've been going through a rough patch here this past year with a divorce. And to be honest, it's really opened my eyes to a lot of good things and bad things. It's made me appreciate the good things in life. And it's woken me up to some changes that I need to make as well. And I think that's how we need to view the beginning of the golf season, is by almost having a divorce with your habits of the past that haven't been helping to propel you uh, in the right direction. Because, I've sent out some emails this week. You'll get what you deserve. You'll get what you deserve. And if you take your shirt off and you go and you look in the mirror, you've got what you deserve. And by that, I mean, if you're not eating right, you're overeating, you're not exercising, or you're binge eating late at night, or you're drinking a ton of alcohol, that mirror's not lying to you. You've gotten what you deserve. You may wish, but it's like pissing into the wind. It's not going to do anything for you unless you do the things that you need to do. Um, so, basically, this rough patch that I've gone through, it's left me asking myself, why haven't I been more aware of what's going on around me? And that got me thinking about golf too. To get better, you better damn well be pretty aware. And by that, I mean, you need to know your numbers. You need to track your stats and examine those stats. Like Larry last night posted up, and this is exactly what we're talking about. And this is why he's making massive improvement in his game. I mean, to shoot a 77 this early in the year, man, by the end of summer, he could be breaking par for 18 holes. But, I'm looking at his stats, and he's missing from 150. That seems to be a weak point. And he knew that was his layup point, which is really good. So now he knows he's 150 out on par fours. And he knows that he's missing them. So I asked him, what's your miss? And he says he tugs them a little bit left. So now that we know that, we can go fix that. I think anytime you miss left, that's a pretty bad side to be on, isn't it, Rich? To miss left.
If you got water left, yeah.
Well, like your miss.
It's actually best if you have one consistent miss.
Exactly.
When you're spraying at both sides, that's where it leaves golfers in this delusional state of like they don't know what to do. But if it's a one-sided miss, that's actually better. The goal with knowing your swing is when you do hit a miss, understanding what caused that miss. So that's really the key. So if you don't know what's causing that shot, that's where you need to break it down. But by analyzing your round to identify that these areas are where I need to be more focused on, that way when you go to the range, you can spend quality time on fixing what you need to work on versus
we'll
putting.
Get into that in just a second, because I got a formula that I gave out earlier this week, and what you're talking about, I'll let you expand upon that in just a second. So we'll get there in like 30 seconds. So the thing is if you're aware of a problem, and you want to lower your score, I think the number one asset you need is to be aware. You need to be able to know where your game currently stands. So, and we earlier in this podcast we talked about habits, and we don't really talk about this in mainstream golf. Building habits, consistent practice. It's all about the quick fix. I mean, you watch any of these TV shows, it's like, oh, just go do this. It's so easy.
Buy this wedge.
Buy this magical wedge. What the hell is that thing? It looks like one of those old chipping irons. They got to be selling tons of those. I'll be honest, I don't see Phil Mickelson carrying that wedge. Not to say that it won't work, but wouldn't it be better to just use what you have and cheaper and learn how to do it the right way and be able to ingrain that to where you're more consistent? Because I don't care if you have that wedge, that magical wedge, or I don't even know, the XE5 or something. But if you have that wedge and you still got a shitty form, your results are probably going to be pretty shitty. But if you have that wedge and then you work on your form and a repeatable movement to where you hit the ball first every time, and you know your landing zones, you're probably going to do really much better, I think. Have much more consistency and confidence. So, habits, exercise. The exercise world is all about consistency. We just don't see it preached to golfers with your practice and things like that. So you want to get in shape, you need to be consistent. The workout world uses habits like crazy. Do this workout Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Eat this. Track what you eat. Track your weights. Go up 5 pounds every week. You want to lower a golf score? You need to be consistent in the exact same way. You need to go out and do your drills just like you do a workout. And I think that's the biggest breakthrough we've come up with beyond the GTG neural programming are the brand new practice sessions, Rich, which are designed very similar to a workout. And I want to thank Dave Bachman and several other members who helped get us lined out on that, because Dave's a really good golfer. And because we put out a beta version, he's like, man, that would take me like 3 days to do that one. We kind of honed it down a little bit, and we've got a pretty good one in there. And I really believe with the GTG and now this and the workouts and everything that we do in our challenges, this is going to be a total game changer for the students. I think we'll see massive improvement just from this one little tweak. So we're getting almost there, Rich, to where you can talk about how to be aware, see a problem, and then solve it. Just one thing: if there's no change there's no change if there is no change in routine. So what I mean by that is we talked about taking your shirt off earlier, and you're looking in the mirror, and you want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you're not going to change anything. You're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're probably going to be fatter next week because you're still going to Taco Bell, still drinking a lot of beer at night, and nothing's changed. So you need to change what it is that you're doing. So Rich, here's the formula: knowledge, strategy, execution, KSE. So, I mean, let's talk about Larry right now. He's missing from 150, which, I mean, I feel pretty confident from 150, and I know you do. You hit it pretty stiff from 150.
Yeah, so now he's identified that is his problem area. So if he's got a predominant miss that he hits with that particular shot, that particular club, that's what we can focus on the range. But at the same time, if he is hitting to that yardage, so where he's hitting the driver to get to that yardage, and he could probably lay back with the 3-wood and maybe hit a 165 zone that maybe has a better average, then you would analyze your round to say, okay, I'm going to hit it at 165, not 150. That's trying to rectify the problem without fixing the actual issue. But that's the knowledge. Yeah, so that's understanding. So that's what who was it this weekend that I think it was Jason Day. said, I want to leave it. No, this was actually on the ladies' tour. It was Lydia Ko. Said she wanted to leave. It was a par 5. She could have got there in 2. She was 220 out, but it was a downhill lie. So she wanted to leave 70 yards into the green. Hits the shot and has 72 or 73 in, because that yardage is comfortable with her game. She knows at that 70-yard mark, she can get it within 6 feet. So that's the same principle with this. If you're struggling on the course, you've already analyzed it, but you can't get to the range to fix it. If you've identified that 150 range is a problem, find a solution around it so that you can get to where something that is getting that you on the green a little bit more consistent. But
yeah, he might have trouble with that because he's talking about par 4s. So here's what I would do is, he said he's tugging it left from there. So he needs to gain knowledge on what happens when you do tug it left. So to really get an understanding of that, we need a video of this 150-yard swing. So Larry, if you're listening to this, get us a video of that and send us the video when you tug it left, and we'll analyze that for you. So what we're gonna do,
and it could also be mindset. So a lot of kids that are practicing and then they go play tournaments, there's this switch that between practice and tournament play that happens. And the only way they can get rid of this difference, because what happens is you'll see a kid who's practicing, whether it be tennis or golf, and they're hitting it, like say for tennis, they're hitting it, just hitting these pure, like top-handed shots that just hug the net, and it's got a lot of pace on it. But then they get to the tournaments and they don't trust it, or they're tentative. There's a lot of things that go on. And so it could be the mindset as well. It might not, it might be.
I mean, it very well could be if he's hitting everything else good. What we need to do is figure it out. Once we figure out what the root cause is, we can gain knowledge on how to solve it. Because you need to look, here's the thing, and Hank Haney and these guys are not going to tell you this. Once you understand what it is you're doing wrong, you need to understand how to fix it thoroughly. I'm talking top down, bottom up. You gotta figure out everything about it so you understand it and you know what it is and you know how to fix it and you know what happens when you do it, because you're never going to get it grooved until you understand these things. And it could go all the way back to his grip or his setup and alignment. It could be, we don't know what it is. Like you're talking about mindset. It very well could be like he just gets nervous. He's like thinking, man, I just nailed that drive. I'm 150 out. This could be a birdie. He's kind of getting ahead of himself. Who knows? So that's the knowledge aspect of the KSE formula. So then strategy, once you understand, you have the knowledge of how to solve it, you need to come up with a strategy of how to fix it. And I think
that's the key. So a lot of people get they get lessons, and they seem to be on track with what the coach is telling them, but they can't feel the change. So say, for example, they need to get the club in a certain slot or certain position, or they need to do a certain move. And they understand what he's talking about, but physically they can't feel where it needs to be. So what happens typically,
probably the most difficult thing in golf to teach.
Well, that as a golfer, when you do get a lesson, it is critical that when you walk away from that lesson, that you know exactly what you should be feeling. So if you need to say, for example, you're taking the club back and it needs to come more on the inside, you have to feel that position. If you don't feel the change that needs to be worked on, when you step away from that lesson, you go hit balls on your own, you're lost. You don't know exactly what to work on. So emphasis on understanding.
You need to understand what it feels like.
Understanding the strategy for it. So
two, the drills to help you feel that. That's where the practice sessions come in on the strategy. It's like, okay, so you know what it is, and like Rich is saying, you kind of know what it feels like. You're not 100% sure on it, but there are drills that can help you. So then you need to put in your practice session these drills, and that's kind of where we go with our practice sessions today. So, you have anything else on strategy, Rich?
I would say for strategy. So if you know um, certain tendencies are going to cause that shot at a, say for what we're taking Larry for example here. So so the strategy would be to, if it's predominantly missing left, it could be a playing for it. So aiming right and just making sure you're just going to play for that right to left shot. I would also look at, let's see.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you got to your strategy on the course, if you haven't fixed the tug to the left, would be to aim to the right edge of the green, because if you hit it straight, you're still going to maybe have a chance at the green. Because I mean, to be honest, his percentages were not very good at from the 150. So he's probably going to pull it left more than straight, hit it straight.
Yeah, it's a compounding effect too, because it's he if you know that that's gonna, if you're hitting that left shot consistently, it plays with your mind. So on the course, there's one way to do it, just to try and play for it and trust it, because what happens is you'll get tentative and you won't trust it, and then you'll end up hitting it right. But once you get onto the range, the strategy is to try and replicate that. You want to put some pressure in there. So you're going to have that 150 target on the range, and you're going to try and replicate it, because that's the only way you can do this, is just trying to replicate that situation on the range.
If so, you play today or tomorrow, what I would suggest, instead of aiming to the right of the green, is to play a fade. Like, just intentionally hit a fade for that shot.
It could be just grip that left hand tight and open the face just slightly and visualize. You have to visualize that left to right shot.
Because his misses probably aren't that much. If he shot a 77, he's probably just off the edge of the green, just barely.
Yeah. That's the other thing that leads me to just play it right and play it. If it's not that bad of a miss.
So KSE formula, what he needs to do is he needs to figure out, is this pressure, like Rich is talking about? Is it a swing flaw? And if it's a swing flaw, start from the very beginning, grip, set up an alignment, posture, take away. Because often with the short irons, I take mine a little too far on the inside, and that can cause that a little pull for me. So it could be the takeaway, and that's just an idea, but we would need to get this on video, preferably if he's out on the golf course and he's got a buddy and he's sitting at 150, video every damn one of them.
We want a drone with a 360 camera angle, so I can zoom right around as he's hitting.
So when we see what can happen, then we can reverse engineer it, and then we can go to our large data bank of Butch Harmon fixes, and then reverse engineer this and come up with the knowledge that Larry needs to know to solve this. Or Phil Mickelson's new coach, which isn't he like some CIA agent? Nobody knows who the guy is.
Yeah, no idea. But I have to go through last podcast to see if you mentioned Butch Harmon.
I did.
Oh man, because you just mentioned him there, and I was like, I gotta think that you did not mention him last time.
Oh, I did. Then once you get that knowledge and like what's going on, what causes it, how to fix it, then you go to your strategy. That's where you come up with your drills. What does it feel like? And then how often are you going to practice that at the range until it's solved? That's your strategy.
Yeah. So and the power kick that comes from knowing what caused a bad shot, it's a great feeling, because it overrides the bad shot. It's like you understand what caused it. If you hit it left and you're like, oh, you're scratching your head and you'd be like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
it's the worst feeling. But if you can hit that left shot and be like, hey, I know what I did there, And so that when you do it, when you're up to that same shot again in the next few holes, you can fix it rather quickly. So just understanding what caused it is key.
You just do your practice swing and you're aware of it. You know, and that's the thing that we want to teach people. We want to teach them how to fix their own game when they're on the golf course. If you can do that and you have a string of bad holes, you can come out of it. I mean, when we were in South Carolina, I was hitting it terrible. And I went back to this one drill that Rich taught me, started killing it. That's because I understood what was going on. I had the knowledge and I had already had a strategy to fix it. All I had to do was remind myself, and then I was able to do it. So then, you know, you have your knowledge, you have your strategy. The only thing that's missing from the formula is you. It's up to you to go out and execute this practice strategy at the range. You know, and even part of your strategy could be getting a lesson from PGA Pro. But then it's up to you to execute the plan, the strategy. You know, and another way of getting better, you know, we're going to move on from Larry's 150. He's probably wants to kill us now that we've been talking about it for 30 minutes. I'll say this one last thing about Larry. I mean, he shot a 77 and he missed that many greens from 150. I mean, holy shit. He gets those, he starts hitting those greens. We're looking at even par.
What did he shoot again?
77. Let me look here. Okay, he shot a 77 in cold weather. We might have a clue here. This might be set up because he says on his driver he even sets up closed. So he might be setting up closed on those approach shots. He said he hit 3 out of 10 greens from 150. So imagine if he's hit 7 out of 10, you could probably take, you know, that'd be 4 shots. So we're looking at a 73.
Yeah. I mean, video allows us to identify it a little bit quicker. We could speculate, and that's what I talked about this in a earlier post a few weeks ago about how to video and why we want video, just because of the fact that we don't want to misdiagnose and send you down the wrong path. That's why video in that situation will help. But
you put up a module on that, didn't you?
Yeah, basically just how to video your swing. I want an angle from behind at the target and then one from in front. That way we get both angles and we can correctly diagnose it. We don't want to just speculate and give you some, it could be this. Because that's the thing with Larry's situation with not knowing. I mean, it could be set up. It could be mental. It could be,
just from what he said, I'm almost thinking this is a setup deal, because if he's setting up to his driver closed, he's probably setting up to almost everything closed. He just doesn't realize it.
Yeah,
it's harder to tell on your irons that you're setting up.
Well, that would explain it too. But again, we're also speculating. So if your feet are aimed right and you're visually looking at the hole, so if you're looking at the hole and your feet are right, you're going to take the club on the inside. When you come through, it's going to be closed, and that's where it goes left.
Yeah.
So it's easy to say that that's the problem, but without a visual, I don't want to say, Larry, just go work on your alignment, because that's sending him down the wrong path. It could be. So quick video, that'll get him sorted out.
That's where you gain the knowledge and the understanding, and you know what you identify. Exactly.
Yeah, and the strategy could be just adjusting the pre-shot routine. So it could be typically when you're going in with a closed stance, the best way to come out of that would be to set up with the club at the ball. It depends on whether you're, no, it actually doesn't matter if you've got both hands on the club or you right hand first, then place the left on. But right foot, you especially with that closed stance. So it's right foot first, and it opens your shoulders to look at the target on a wider angle, but from a clear view and not closed. So he could be going in and not doing that setup and it's automatically closed, or it could be where he does that, but just bringing the left foot too far up. So having the club at the ball, right foot first, looking at the target, then coming in and setting the left foot. That way you can go through and it should straighten it out. So that will be the adjustment. But it would be changing the pre-shot routine so that you can consistently replicate that.
Yeah, and again,
that
this
correct
would
setup.
fall under the strategy aspect after you gain the knowledge. So that's the KSC formula. You can use it for anything in life. Um, and I mean, you want to make $1 million, you could use the same formula to do that. You know, I see a lot of these people with their multi-level marketing things are always trying to sell, oh, we're going to get rich, we're going to do this and that. They don't even know what they're selling. You know, and that's the thing. You got to understand, you got to have a thorough knowledge of what it is you're trying to accomplish, and then set out a strategy to make the $1 million. You know, it's the same with golf, it's
Yeah.
KSC, and basically you'll get what you deserve. So this is what we've been talking about. You know, you're standing in the mirror looking at yourself with your shirt off. That's the body that you deserve, barring some kind of a illness or injury that bars you from, you know, lifting weights and things like that. If you're just a normal, average, healthy person, that body that you see in the mirror is what you deserve. You know, there's nowhere to look at it. If you look on the scorecard, that's the score you deserve. And if you want to get better, you got to apply this KSE uh, formula. And I mean, let's talk about Kobe Bryant a little bit. I know he's kind of a polarizing guy. You either love Kobe or you hate him. There seems to be no in between. But there is no arguing that he's one of the greatest basketball players that's lived. And, you know, he worked exceptionally hard. And I've read this from several different sources. And one was about the Olympics a few years ago. And a guy, one of the coaches, just ran across him and he texted the guy at like 3:30 in the morning. Well, Kobe Bryant goes to the gym at 4:30 and he was asking him something, you know, some kind of a question about working out before he actually got to the gym. Um, and he basically, the guy, a light bulb went off in his head and he was like, wow, man, this is Kobe Bryant. I thought it was kind of like easy for him, but he's up at 4:30 in the morning working out, doing sprints. And then after that, he shoots 800, or he has to have 800 makes. When he gets 800 makes, it takes him roughly 4 hours. So imagine just shooting baskets for 4 hours after you work out. And then basketball practice starts with the regular team. So some guys are just rolling in there, um, you know, at 11 o'clock after he's finished 800 makes. And he's been working since 4:30 in the morning. He's going to get what he deserves. You know, his lady problems are a different thing. That's a different story. He probably needs to work a little harder on that. And I guess he has. He bought his wife the biggest diamond ring I think I've ever seen in the history of the world.
He's got that down.
But the point is, he's going to get what he deserves with basketball or anything in life because he works harder than everybody else. And if you want to get the success you want in golf, I mean, we're not going to lie to you and tell you it's as easy as a tip. We would be doing you a big disservice by lying to you and telling you a tip's going to fix your game. It might help you, but if you want that brass ring, you got to deserve it. You got to go out and shoot those 800 mates. And that's another thing. When you leave the golf course after your practice, don't leave on a bad shot. Don't ever do that. So my question to you, um, for this week, and Rich will post this up on the main Facebook page, is we want you to answer this one question. What is your plan to start deserving what you want from your golf game? And I guess first, maybe you need to decide what it is you want. Is it break 100, break 90, break 80? Once you have that, then decide, you know, what is your plan to start deserving what you want from your golf game? And that's all I got, Rich.
I like that one. It'll be interesting to see where people are at, because then once you at least write it down on paper, that's the first step. Because if you're just going along with the motion, you that's you're just not going to progressively get better.
And you said something really important there. Once you write it down on paper, I think putting it on paper is really powerful. I think for me, when I write it down, there's just a difference between typing it or thinking it. It was like when I write it down, I can always just pick it up and look at it. I can put it on my desk. I can put it on my refrigerator. I can put it on my golf bag. I can put it on the scorecard on the golf cart. When you write it down, I think that's a big thing. So I want you to write it down on paper first. That's a great idea, Rich. And then I want you to post it up to the Golf Aggressive Facebook page. I think that's pretty much it. And Rich,
Okay.
you had
We've got a couple of days left on the Whataburger Challenge. We're going to pick a winner on Friday. So it's golfaggressive.com/Whataburger. The clue is, where is Whataburger's headquarters?
you just
The answer is the answer is San Antonio, Texas. I can't make it any easier. So
we tried it where we didn't give the answer. We wanted to do some research, and for some reason, I always thought it was Corpus Christi, because whenever you go into the any Whataburger, there is a framed picture of the first Whataburger, and it says,
yeah, it was at Corpus Christi. So, but the headquarters is here in San Antonio. So we've got a couple of days left. So you get one entry for it. You can do it daily, but and then if you write a review for us on iTunes, we'll double the entry. We've got a couple of those. Whether or not they've gone live, we've been informed that we've got a couple. So so the people are getting double entries, and then on Friday we'll pick a winner. And so we'll have this podcast up later today, tomorrow. So they'll be aware that the contest ends Friday morning. So golfaggressive.com/Whataburger. It's Whataburger for a year. 52 coupons for burgers.
yeah. And if you want to sign up for the single digit blueprint for $1, just go to singledigitblueprint.com and click in the upper right hand corner. It says community. Click that, and then you can scroll down on that page where we kind of explain what's included, and then you can join for $1 for 30 days.
Yeah, they're getting access with that with everything. So it's not just the Rust Buster Challenge. So you're getting access.
The upcoming Power and Distance Challenge that we're going to sell for $97. And I got news. We are going to raise prices. We're having great success. The program is working. We're starting to get known, and the prices are going to go up because Rich has been talking about forever buying a Ferrari.
Yes, so we need to raise prices.
So he wants that Ferrari. It's a what is it? One of those. It's a what is it? A little Tykes Ferrari, because you're so short. You get that at Toys R Us.
That's wrong.
You need to raise prices. I know. I'm just giving you a hard time, Rich. So next week we're going to be going to Augusta. So I don't know where we're going to do the podcast from, but we're going to do it from somewhere pretty cool, I think.
I would think maybe a golf course location.
Could we do a live one from the Masters, like a Periscope?
No, because they don't allow cell phones. I mean, we could take a camera, and we're going Wednesday, so no cell phones. So that's not going to happen. So I don't have a Clubhouse pass. So if Clubhouse pass, I know some the members.
I don't know if I'm Masters material. I don't know if I can follow their rules. I may get kicked out.
You might be on your own. I'm not even going to associate with you.
If you're going to go to the Masters and you're listening to this, hit us up on Facebook and let's hook up. The beer is cheap. They sell beer there, Rich?
Yeah, everything's cheap inside.
That surprises me. You can't take a cell phone, but you can get drunk.
Yeah. What's funny is they got a wall of phones, like they look like pay phones, but they're free. So
what do you just leave your phone in your car? So if you're a thief, that's like prime time.
Yeah.
Go and rob the parking lot.
Yeah, you just don't bring it in. So whatever you do with it, leave it in the car, leave it at the hotel, leave it at the house. Yeah.
If you're gonna be out and about in that area, Augusta, Masters, let us know. Let's hook up. Let's get together. So on that note, that is it. And just hit our Facebook page, and we want to know what is your plan to start deserving what you want from your game of golf.